Evolution is one of the fundamental concepts of biology and explains how life progressed from the simplest of creatures to the complex organisms found on Earth today. The theory of evolution was first presented by Charles Darwin, but let's look more into how organisms evolve. One major component of evolution is natural selection, or how organisms with advantageous traits or characteristics are more likely to survive and reproduce, passing down their genes to their offspring. There are three types of selection: directional, disruptive, and stabilizing. To understand how this all works, let's take a look at an example. Let us look at a hypothetical population of mice who all have different fur colors. Before we start, let's consider how the mice got these traits of varying fur colors in the first place. This is due to random and rare mutations in genes of the mice, as every time the organism reproduces, there is always a slight chance of a new trait being created by a random mutation. If the environment changes in a way that, for example, makes it easier for mice with a fur of lighter color to blend in and causes dark-haired mice to stand out in comparison to their surroundings, their predators would be able to hunt and kill more dark-furred mice. Now that there are less dark-haired mice, only the lighter-colored ones would have survived long enough to reproduce. Their offspring would also have had the beneficial trait of light hair color. This is called a directional event, as it shifts the population in the direction of lighter-colored hair. An example of a disruptive event would be when the environment changes so that black-furred mice and white-furred mice could hide easily, but those in between would be easily spotted and killed off by predators. In such an event, only the two opposite extremes would survive and reproduce, passing on these traits to posterity. The last type of selection event is a stabilizing event, in which a very narrow range of a trait is selected. For example, only mice with a fur color in between black and white would survive and reproduce. If a disruptive selection event occurs in a way in which two groups are kept from interbreeding for a long enough time, it is a speciation event. A species splits when members can no longer interbreed with each other, but only in their own subgroups. This splitting of species accounts for the enormous diversity of the life that can be found on Earth today. All life shares common ancestors, or ancient species that multiple current species all split off from. Using this reasoning, we can see how all life on the planet is related to each other, as we all share a common ancestor. Such evolutionary relationships can be shown in a cladogram, which is essentially an evolutionary tree, showing how species are related through their common ancestors. Now that we've looked at how evolution occurs through examples and also how it can be visually expressed, I encourage you to watch the other videos about evolution in terms of its origins and implications on this page.